Hello there, good morning everybody. This is Pastor Shibu John from Toronto, Canada on the 7th of April 2026. This morning we are going to meditate from Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Our focal point for today's meditation is the hope that assures. As we assured in truth, true faith rests not in ambitious thinking, but in the unchanging character of God. It's a steadfast, unwavering confidence anchored in His promises, or let me put it in this way, our Lord's promises to us. For the believer, faith means wholly relying upon God Himself, trusting that what He has spoken, He will surely bring to pass. We read that in Numbers chapter 23 and verse 9 and Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 11. And this is the defining mark of every faithful soul recorded in Hebrews chapter 11. They believed God and ordered their lives accordingly. And their faith was not passive reflection, but active dependence expressed through obedience. We read that in Hebrews chapter 11, verses 6 and 8. Many misunderstand faith as a kind of inward longing or meditative hope that something uncertain might one day occur. But the assurance spoken of in Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1 refers to substance, reality, and certainty, not illusion or imagination. And faith lays hold of what is unseen as though it were already possessed. And it's a deep spiritual certainty grounded in divine truth. So, consider the saints of the Old Testament. They lived in anticipation of the promised Messiah, the one who would bear sin and bring redemption to them. Isaiah chapter 53 verses 5 and 6 talks about it. Though their understanding was partial and the fullness of revelation yet to come, they trusted in God's promise. They trusted completely in that promise which was given by their Creator, God the Almighty. Their lives were governed by this hope, for they were persuaded that God is faithful. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4 says that. Behold, as for the impudent one, his soul is not right within him, but the righteous one will live by his faith. And the very same is true for New Testament believers, as the Apostle Peter declares, though you have not seen him, you love him. You believe in him and rejoice with joy inexpressible and full of glory, obtaining the outcome of your faith, the salvation of your souls. And you know what? Faith transcends sight. It is not dependent on visible evidence, for we walk by faith, not by sight. Apostle Paul wrote this to the Corinthian believers in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. The natural inclination of the human heart is to trust only what can be perceived through the senses, what can be seen, touched, or understood. Yet, human perception is limited and often unreliable. God, however, is eternally true. He cannot lie, and His word stands forever. We read that in Psalms 119 and verse 89. Therefore, it is far wiser and eternally secure to trust in our Lord rather than in our own understanding. Faith then is the firm foundation upon which we stand as we await the full realization of all that God has promised. It anchors the soul steady and unshaken, even in the midst of uncertainty. So let me ask you a question. Which promises of God are especially precious to you today? Take hold of them, meditate upon them, give thanks for them, and let us renew our commitments to life, not by sight, not by feeling, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 3 and Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4 says that. So may your heart be strengthened in faith, and may the Lord richly bless you as you walk in the assurance of His promises these days. Have a very blessed day, and God be with you.